and I really wanted to do something more. And that's when I understood that I wanted to finish doing that, and I wanted to start making music. And my idea in my head was just, okay, you know what? I'm gonna start DJing again when I'll be playing my music.
Hmm. And
And last Wednesday was the first show I did after that moment, where I played the set on basically only my music.
he's from Geneva, Switzerland. He started as a DJ and is now making his own original songs like Take It Slow or Perception. Please welcome Suark to the podcast. How are you doing today?
What's up, man? Yes, I'm good. What about you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, kind of first question just to start off, what was your first experience with music, or what kind of first made you get into making music?
My first experience with music was with my grandfather, who was an orchestra director, and he taught me music, taught me piano, and then when you grow up, you start looking at other things like, for example, girls. So you're not into. I wasn't interested into music anymore, and then eventually around university period, I started to get back into it, but I started enjoying a lot DJing. And after DJing for many years, I just decided that that was enough.
Yeah.
So I believe around 8 years ago, I started producing as well. And here we are. Journey has been long.
Never looked back from there. So, what kind of, like, I guess, you started out with, it seems like a very kind of classical education in music. What kind of went from like piano and playing instruments to more DJing and the electronic side of music?
I think that the friends helped a lot with that. Also, my brother, for example, he had the same background as me, and but he with his friends, they were just like going to rave parties and trance clubs, and when I started to become a little bit older, like 17, 16, I started to join them, in their weekend adventures, and that's how I got into it. And that was actually the period where, early 2000, where when dance music started to become something, bigger.
Yeah.
In Europe, and Eiffel 65 happened, ATB happened. There were scooters, so we were listening a lot of that. And in the end, it's very energetic. And when you're like a teenager, you kind of like that, and it's energizing. And I just fell into it. I fell in love with it, and I'm still addicted.
And so when you were growing up, maybe like before you started going out with your brother and his friends, was there anything else you thought you might want to do in life other than music? Any other career path?
I never thought about having music as a main career. I always thought, it was just a passion, something fun to do until,
Like
I
a
started
side sort of thing.
traveling for it. When you start traveling for this, you can understand that you can make a job out of it. And but yeah, before I was just thinking about becoming maybe a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. Typical, I want to say boring because we also need like doctors and lawyers. Hopefully not often, but at some point we all need it. But I mean, living with music is it's a totally different feeling.
Yeah, and so once you kind of started to try to do music, I guess, as your main source of income, your main job, what kind of tips or advice would you give to other people just starting music, trying to grow in the industry?
To grow, to make a living out of it.
Both, just like grow. Yeah, I guess like if they're starting out and they want to reach that point of making a living, like what are some ways that you would advise them to get there?
First of all, I think it's very important to actually make a plan. right?
Mhm.
Okay, and understand at what point of the journey are you, because everybody wants to be, Swedish House Mafia or Black Coffee or whatever, and they all feel
Yeah.
like that because that's how you should be. You should feel that you're being authentic and you're being yourself, and you are like the only one doing that, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you are true to yourself and you follow your inspirations, I think that's the start. And then you have to understand how the market is perceiving you, right? And you get that with true and real and honest feedbacks with people from people that actually you can see they want you to succeed, but
Yeah.
they also want you to be realistic, okay? Because your friends or your girlfriend, your parents, the most of the time they'll just tell you, yes, this is the best thing ever, and then maybe you listen to what they said it was the best thing ever. Maybe 3-4 years later, when your skills just like went, to a higher level, you just
Yeah.
understand that wasn't enough to actually break through the market.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, unfortunately, artists, musicians especially, they always improve with negative feedbacks, right?
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
will it will never work if people will tell you, yeah, this is great, this is great, this is great, right? they, they will just the feedback is that this is not good, this is not good, this is
Yeah.
not good, so you have to change those, right?
Yeah.
And
And it's
I mean, we have a tough skin.
yeah, it's a lot of um, accepting that negative feedback because you want to get better. You want to have your
Yeah,
music be the best it can be. So um, you kind of have to be accepting of that negative feedback. Yeah, and so I guess
absolutely.
once you had kind of decided that music was something you were going to do, how did you decide on Suark being your artist name, your DJ name? Where did that come from?
um, Actually, at the beginning I never thought I had to use like a different name for my project. I just want to
Yeah,
have my name and last name. But it was a because I was playing with my name, my real name, and my real last name. And at some point, I think 6 or 7 years ago, I don't remember, to be honest,
yeah,
exactly when. But I
yeah. That's fine.
created this name just to release, some tracks that was just experimenting with, some kind of underground, with some underground vibes and so on. And
Yeah,
and it stayed there for a while. I was just like releasing once in a while something just to keep it alive, but I had no real um, expectation on it, right?
yeah,
And then when 2 years ago, I think was September 2020. I think it was September 2020. I was doing a deal with Universal Netherlands, and there was this song that they really wanted from me, but they wanted to pitch it to one of their artists. But
hmm
basically, they had not enough budget to actually just get the full song with and basically me giving them all the credits and royalties, whatever. So
yeah,
basically, we came up with, okay, why you don't put like a name on it, like as a featuring, and then we just closed the deal this way. I said, like, you know what, whatever, yeah, okay, great, let's do it. I put the name on it, and then we started getting, requests for remixes from Inna, Burek Yetter, then Inna again, and then I was just, you know what? Why do we don't push it a bit more this one? And then with Matteo, my business partner, uh, we with and we released with them, and then we sent one to Smash the House, and
yeah,
then apparently Dimitri Vegas loved the song, and after a few, can be I think couple of weeks, they sent me like an agreement of a first option, and then everything started from there, and
yeah.
we kind of started a family together.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess so. So starting as a DJ, I'm sure you have lots of live experience, playing whether it's your own music or just DJing an event with
Yeah.
other people there. I guess as a DJ to start off, what was the first like DJ show you were playing? What was that like for you? Were you nervous at all? Like what was that feeling like?
The first DJ gig I've ever had was actually at one of my uh, uh, friend, my parents' friend's house
Mhm.
on a holiday destination, and basically their DJ that they booked was not able to make it to the party, so they were having this party but with no DJ, and they saw me like playing with the virtual DJ. I was maybe 16 or 17, something
Yeah.
like this, and it happened that I just spent the night playing with virtual DJ, and actually went really well because I was playing, all the old school Italian songs. People were just like jumping and running and having so much fun. So in the end, it worked really well. And then I bought Hercules digital console that was
Mhm.
I was using with my laptop, and it was working like it was not working well. Every hour and a half, I had to restart the whole computer. And but that's how I actually played my first big gigs in Zurich at because the university there is running um, there is an association of students from the Italian side of Switzerland.
Mhm.
We have like four national languages in Switzerland, and one is
Yeah.
Italian. And there is a group of Italian students, of Swiss Italian students in Zurich, and they always organize 2 times per semester two big parties, right? And I started DJing at their parties, and but with zero experience, I started with DJing at parties with maybe 600-700 people, and then we also went to thousands.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So that was quite fortunate, let's say.
yeah. And so was there sort of ever a moment that made you second guess or like rethink if music was the right choice for you, if it's really something that you could do as a career?
Yes, yes, absolutely. The moment where actually I moved from Milan to London, it's because I was at that point I was really playing a lot in fashion clubs in Milan, and the problem was that I was not really playing my music, when you're DJing from some time, you're tired of just like playing songs that works for the dance floor, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a great school. I mean, you learn really well to how to create the hype in the dance floor.
Yeah.
Okay, the problems that you have once the owners or people is used to have this hype constantly all night long. Uh, you're not able to bring in anything new to the table.
Yeah, it
Once
starts
I
to feel very,
remember,
like, recycled sort of, or, like, just it doesn't get as exciting
I
as the first
mean,
time that it happened.
exactly. I was just playing party rock 3 times a night, and I walked to Saint Tropez, and all the usual songs every year, every night. For I mean, it was just like so tiring, and I was
Yeah.
not like really, really, and it was not inspirational, and I really wanted to do something more. And that's when I understood that I wanted to finish doing that, and I wanted to start making music. And my idea in my head was just, okay, you know what? I'm gonna start DJing again when I'll be playing my music.
Mhm. And
And last Wednesday was the first show I did after that moment, where I played the set on basically only my music. There were just like 3 songs that were not mine.
yeah,
Were
that's
my
awesome.
songs or my remixes of popular songs.
And how what was that feeling like for you when, like, getting to have basically a whole set of, like, original music, like, you don't have to use much of anyone
It
else's?
was so Man, it was so emotional. I have to be honest. Like, I'm a very practical and very cold-minded person, and I
Yeah.
always try to make to be focused and to be calm. And man, I was so. so anxious, and I felt so vulnerable, because
Yeah.
I didn't know how people will react to the set, the music, how the energy would have been at the end of it, and if was going to, empty the dance floor, and I mean, the first gig at Ushuaia, it was like, I mean, I felt really bad at the beginning. At the end of it, I was just like, all right, okay, then this works.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Luckily for me, I had so much experience from DJing that I didn't have to worry about, the technical skills, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, because that's like riding a bicycle; it just comes back to you. Um, but on the emotional level, it was super tough. The second gig,
Mhm.
for example, at Tomorrowland on Sunday, I was feeling much better. I was feeling way more comfortable because
Yeah.
I saw how people were reacting to the set. So I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, right, I'm handling this. So the first, if you see, for example, me playing the first time, there were the videos where I was just like looking around a little bit scared. Yeah, I was smiling, but I could see, that was a bit unsure, a little bit insecure, and everything. On Sunday, it was way better, way better.
Yeah. Yeah. And so right now I'm traveling a bit, so I couldn't be at Tomorrowland in person, but I saw a recording of your set from Tomorrowland. What was that like performing at such a huge festival, a huge venue? What was kind of going through your head as you looked out at the crowd of people there?
It felt like I'm doing things right. Okay, it, I mean, if because those festivals are so big and so structured that it's difficult, to there are no dynamics like in small clubs, right?
Yeah.
In small clubs, there is the guy, the PR that brings the people, and then if he's also DJing, but DJs like he's still DJing, right? For example, that's something you see a lot in small venues. But when there is such a big brand that calls you, it means that your music has a value. And I mean, the set itself was super important for me because it was like international recognition straight away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But already for myself, like personally, already, when they sent me the promo material, I was just like, okay, then I should keep on pushing this way.
Mhm. And
And
and so I guess just like I'm trying to think of how I should word it. Like, did you do you do you have any uh preference over like the small sort of clubs where you can like you're more closer to the people versus Tomorrowland where it's sort of a giant venue and they're sort of farther away?
I have to be honest. I haven't experienced a small club yet with my
Really?
music.
Really? Oh, yeah,
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 I
I
mean,
guess with
yeah, because I haven't played it. Like my first gig was with just my music was Ushuaia, and it's not a small club. It's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
festival. It's huge. I mean, and the same with Tomorrowland. I always had a lot of fun in small clubs because it's really funny, and if you create a good energy, a good vibe, you see people just comes to you. They come to you and they really interact a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, something they have way less on big stage. Uh, Luckily for me, it was I had that feeling as well at Ushuaia and Tomorrowland
Mhm.
because um, some fans came to visit. I had people from Switzerland, people from Italy, in Tomorrowland, even people from Korea came, and they were
Wow.
just like
Yeah.
coming for me to that stage for me, and that was like the best feeling, man.
Yeah, because Tomorrowland is a giant, like, very international. You'll probably get someone from,
Yeah.
like, any country in the world there. Did, and you yourself seemed like pretty international, you know, from Switzerland, Italian heritage, speak English. Do you think that side, sort of international side of you, helped your performance at Tomorrowland?
Um, in which way do you think?
Like,
I do understand that.
I guess did you just did did you try to think of ways that you could, you know, like engage everyone regardless of where they're from or like what language they speak?
Okay, in that sense. Well, definitely. Everything helps.
Mhm.
In Italy, we say everything makes the broth. Okay, but it gives you the then.
Yeah,
I mean, when you have, I think, when you're able to reach uh, through the borders and you go international, that helps a lot, of course, because you can reach like a way bigger audience. If I would be speaking and just like posting everything with the Italian comments, and absolutely, I would be way less appealing to an international audience. So I'm always trying to, to reach people that, and to be understandable by people, because of my music, not because of the language. So I think I always try, to show them, what I do, and then whether they like it or not, they come despite, their background, or
yeah,
their.
yeah, and yeah, and I think
I don't know if I don't know if I replied your question.
no, you did, you definitely
Kind
you definitely did.
kind of. Okay.
So I guess like we kind of talked about it earlier. Being an artist, you experience a lot of kind of negative feedback, and you have to, regardless of that, keep going, keep working. Is there any sort of person, maybe another artist you look up to that kind of uh, helped inspire that sort of work ethic in you?
Oh, I had the pleasure to work with one of the best engineers in Italy, maybe in Europe, and his name is Gigi Barocco. And I remember going to his studio with, songs that for me were just like hit records, and he was just like, "Yeah, this is not working. This is crap. This is not working. This is crap." And this was years ago. And he, at the beginning, he was helping me, fixing, you should do this like this like that. Sometimes he was making some work on it, and then I was seeing how he approaches, certain issues on the records, and he also taught me. I think he doesn't know that, but I extracted from him
Yeah,
the way of the way he was critical, analytical on the record. Okay, he was just analyzing every piece of it and every part of it. It's like like the whole the different slices, let's say, and then the
yeah,
entirety of the song, right?
yeah,
And he always, pushed me to work with, for example, professionals doing top lines, and the professional singer, and that, of course, gave me a um, always the possibility to access to very high level um, professionals. For example, he put me in contact with some of the best, top liners in Italy that were doing dance music, and he rearranged, for example, one time, one of my, like many years ago, one of my songs, and then now, for example, we're working, and he's like, "Ah, dude, I love the record." And and seeing how many bad comments he was doing in the beginning, I was
yeah,
just going home, and almost crying, because he was just like destroying everything
yeah,
in just few lines. And now he just like, "Ah, dude, like, you deserve this," and and this is one of the best feelings that I could get. I mean, him telling me that I deserve it, and he was one of the first people actually commenting and telling me that the things were not working in the way I was doing it.
yeah. And so sort of now a lot of artists use like social platforms like Instagram or TikTok to kind of help get their music out there, try to grow their following. How, like, do you think social media has helped
Yeah.
you grow to a bigger standing?
Social media is really important because people nowadays judge you by social media.
Yeah,
So um, the way you present yourself, it says a lot about the opportunities you're going to get. We had the issues with some people, for example, that were trying to tell them that they should like take care more of the pictures they were posting and the comments they were making, the stories that they were making. When you're like a beginner and you're like trying to break through, you should be politically correct. For my idea, politically correct, and you should try also to give to have a look that is consistent, and also what you post, if it's if it looks nice. I
yeah,
mean, you your product looks better. I mean, that's the basic principle of marketing at the end. If for example you are selling biscuits, right, and the packaging sucks, like it's really crap. It's written by
yeah.
hand with some tape on it, and it's closed with cellophane, blah, blah, and then you sell it. People think that those biscuits are sorry, but
It's okay. It's
um,
okay. You
sorry for the
can.
expression, but that's a reality. Okay, you
Yeah,
never buy a biscuit that has an awful packaging, even though the biscuit were made by the grandmother of the best chef ever, who taught everything to that chef. So
yeah,
even though those biscuits are the best, you will not buy it. If it has a nice packaging, you'll buy it.
yeah. Mm.
You know,
So
it has
it's
to be
about
at the same level of quality, or almost the same level. If you
it's about
think your
the
music, if your music is if your music is sorry, they're like
yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
because I'm on holiday with a family.
It's about sort
So
of
yes,
aesthetic, how you present it, how it looks, um, despite the quality of the product you're giving out.
yes, exactly. I mean, you have to first the first occupation of an artist should be the content. Okay, music. But then he also like should take some time to actually create a nice packaging.
Are you a music artist trying to find a way to get your music on as many streaming platforms as possible? Then check out DistroKid. DistroKid is a super user-friendly and super easy-to-use service that will make your music available in stores like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon Music, YouTube, Snapchat, everything. Everything you could imagine, it's available. People will even be able to add your songs into their Instagram stories. DistroKid helps you with the distribution, monetization, and promotion of all of your music. Use the link in the description of this video for 7% off any DistroKid package you want. Pick from musician packages designed to help artists get their own music out there, or even get a label package where you can manage up to 100 artists from one profile. So that's more for like managers, labels, and you can also get the musician package that I mentioned earlier, which is more for artists, producers, things like that. It's super easy, and you can get 7% off any package right now with the link in the description of this video. So once again, if you're looking for a way to get your music on as many streaming platforms as possible, I'm talking any platform you can think of, get DistroKid and get 7% off right now with the link in the description. Back to the program. When you go into the studio and you kind of want to come up with a new song, maybe a new beat or instrumental, what does that kind of process look like? Where do you usually start a song from?
It always depends, man. Either like I just I just maybe try to I just start goofing around and see if it comes up something nice, or either just put down some chords, a melody, or maybe I just start from a vocal that someone sent me, right?
Yeah.
Um, if I'm like in the studio with a singer, we just maybe I try to inspire the singer, and then the singer try to inspire me on the vibes and what kind of song we should do and what we should talk about in the song.
Yeah.
For example, now it's coming up like a song named Temple with Jasmine Jane, and we wrote that song in London a few months back. And I remember she was having like a rough time, um, like emotionally. She had like some romantic,
Yeah.
disappointments, let's say. And we just started, talking about it, and then we came out with this song that was just like, you know what, I feel I should feel like a goddess. People should just like make temples for me and treat me like really well. And then
Yeah.
how the idea started, and now that this song is temple, and you will listen to it in the middle of August. But it all speaks about this women that should be the women that should be treated like goddess, and should treat
Yeah.
them well, and you should respect them, and should maybe fear them as sometimes a little bit, because at the end of the day, men, who are we without with our lady, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing. So uh, yes, we create like a song with that theme, and I think it's beautiful, especially the message that we're gonna give. So it always
Mhm.
depends, many points of entry for every
Yeah.
song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inspiration is
And
everywhere.
yeah, and so for inspiration, do you try to, you know, do you take inspiration, from like events that happen in your life or things, or do you take a little bit of inspiration from other artists? Where do you find your own inspiration?
And like some artists that really, really, really influence me a lot. The way I'm working, the way I my music sounds, and the way I create melodies. So I mean, life, of course, it's influencing a lot my music, but um, my car time, let's say, it's the one that influences the most, because I listen to other artists and to other
Yeah.
ideas, other way of approaching, certain musical issues that we could have, and it is, yeah. I think music inspire my music a lot.
Yeah, and so when you kinda if you get inspired by another artist, something you hear, how do you balance, like, wanting to use that as inspiration, but not, making it sound too much like that, or not copying
Mm.
it almost?
I think I just extract the best thing the thing that I like the most,
Mhm.
the one thing, and then I make it mine, and then I just like include it in everything else.
Yeah, yeah, and
Something that like I'm something that like people is telling me is that I'm doing kind of sometimes different genres, slightly different genres
yeah,
sometimes. Because if you listen to Take Off Baby, for example, or uh, Take It Slow, or for example Perception, are three different songs, like three different kind of songs. One is more underground, the other one is more techy, the other one is more EDM.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, they all, like, people understand they're all mine, because
yeah,
the way I think I make the melodies, the way I think I create the whole arrangement.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's very special when an artist can find, just something about them, whether it's their voice or just a style that they do where, if you hear a song of theirs, even if you've never heard the song before, just hearing it, you have a sense like, oh, this is a Suark song, or this is whoever's song. I think that's
Yeah,
really special for an artist to find. And
yeah. I
so
think it's what only people like should focus on. Like artists, upcoming artists, they should be breaking the, like, the market. They should cut through the market because they're recognizable somehow.
because of their own like original
Because
sound.
yes, because if they're following the trend, I mean, they're already late,
If you're, I
right?
yeah, and I heard a saying somewhere. I forget exactly how it goes, but it's basically like if you like if you like follow, like it was saying, like if you're a fish and you start following a school of fish all going somewhere, people just see the group of the school of fish, not you in particular. But if you go the opposite direction, then everyone starts looking like, hey, that one fish is going the opposite direction. It makes you stand out. It
Correct.
makes you not just fit into like a trend. So
Yeah, but for example, speaking about fish, like Fisher, when came out with losing it,
mhm.
he was he was the first one breaking through like big time with that kind of like tech house, right?
Yeah,
Then everybody started following. It came up. A lot of great songs came out, but to be honest, I cannot remember one.
yeah,
And I listened to a lot of songs, and uh, I mean, because maybe Fisher, when came out with that song, he did already that song, had already the follow up, and maybe the one even after. Okay,
yeah,
so when we started knowing losing it, he was ready with the second release and the third one.
yeah, yeah,
So of course he will be king. He will be the king of that one. The time you listen to losing it, the time and the time that you finish your first record in the same style, people already like recognize Fisher as the main artist of that genre.
yeah,
So
and sort of like
how can you try to become the number one if there is already a number one
yeah, it's sort
in
of
that
like
specific field?
if you're waiting for something to get popular or happen, and then you start doing that, by the time
Mm,
you go through the process of making a song like that, getting it produced, mixed,
yeah,
mastered, and released, that whoever released that song is probably either already has another song released or is well into working on another song. And so,
correct. Same thing.
um,
I'm seeing it now with future rave. The, to be honest, I absolutely love future rave. I think it's brilliant. The
mhm,
genre, it's super energetic. It doesn't, it's not cheesy. It just like feels great the way the people make it. It's just that everybody's starting to make future rave now. And
yeah,
to be honest, I mean, Martin and David Guetta are gonna be the kings. When are you
yeah,
doing something that is their genres? It's pointless.
yeah,
They should
and
take maybe some elements from future rave and combine it in a different way.
mhm.
Anyway,
And is there, has there been a song of yours that kind of performed better or worse than you thought? Like you released it and thought, "Hey, this is like a great song," and then it didn't do as well, or you released it and it was like, I don't know, I'll just release this because, and it got super
yeah.
popular.
Uh, okay, for example, the one we did with Universal Netherlands, it was really disappointing. Okay, starting
Mhm.
off with the bad one because they were like, yeah, we're gonna push it a lot. It's gonna be great. Blah blah blah. 150,000 streams, like nothing, right?
Yeah.
And they give advances here, advances there, and money here. I mean, it was like nonsense.
Yeah.
They did like a crazy, beautiful, super nice video, um, music video. The music video is beautiful. To be honest, it's like
Yeah.
super nice, done really well. So it was not cheap, and it did horribly. Like for
Yeah.
what they spent, it did horribly. At the same time, "Take It Slow" was a song that I had zero expectations on, and actually got more attention than the one that I thought was going to get attention. So
Mhm.
yes, at the end, those two are my
Yeah.
answers. Take It
Yeah,
Slow
they
and the other one.
performed different than how you thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I now I've learned to have no expectation on the songs. Just work really well on it, and then if it goes well, good, amazing. If it doesn't go well, it sucks, but it's not my fault at the end.
Yeah.